AYANEO is back at it with the new AYANEO Pocket DMG. We're going to take a look at this and do a review today and see what we think. This one comes in with a 3.92-inch OLED display, which is really unique, really cool. 1240 by 1080, super high resolution, 8-core Qualcomm Snapdragon G3x Gen 2, rocking 8 gigabytes of LPDDR5X. Graphics come in with an Adreno A32 at 1 gigahertz. Battery is a 6,000 milliamp hour, which is really nice to see. We get the Arctic Black, the Moon White, or this retro here. Now, as far as pricing goes, we're looking at $342 US, and that's for the early bird price, still available on Indiegogo if you want a white or black SKU here. If you want this special DMG color, this unfortunately does cost more at $675 currently. That's what they have available. So we're gonna have to see. The cost of the higher end, just to have a funky colorway, probably not worth it. Save money, get the same chipset, the same performance, a little bit less specs as far as RAM and storage goes, $342 on Indiegogo, 8 gigabytes plus 128, or this one comes with 16 gigs, 1 terabyte. Whew, that's a whole lot of, I don't mean to start the video off throwing specs at you, but I just figure let's just get it out of the way soon. As far as extras go, this does have coastline rear triggers, 4-mode vibration, joystick touchpad, microSD card slot, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.3, USB 3.2 Gen 2, adjustable scroll wheel, IA home, and IA space. And the other thing is there is a touchpad here, so that'll be interesting. Rockin' Android, we'll see what we can do. 4.3 content should be awesome, but this might be a luxury that nobody needs at all. But is it the ultimate Game Boy? We're gonna find out. All right, let's unbox the sucker. Let's review it, let's unbox it, let's hop in. So before we take a look at the AYANEO Pocket DMG, they sent over a few things here. I guess if you order, there are some extras that you can get. This one happened to come with a mug. Ah, nice little pouch. I saw this in the Pocket Micro. It fits it really nicely, and that's very soft. Ooh, nice. Oh, screen protector, excellent. Yeah, I like that mug too. Real gamers, no gamers. Oh, nubs, trying to encroach on my Stubbs nub territory, huh? Yeah, we'll see about that. And always they include stickers with these things. That's fun. Look at these fun stickers. Okay, it's nice to have some extra things, that's good. And now is a good time to also give my usual disclaimer of this was a unit sent for review from AYANEO. All thoughts and opinions are my own. No money has exchanged hands in any way. And yeah, we'll take a look here. They have this 35-watt retro adapter and a vintage shoulder bag. Oh, what? And it's in green. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's fun. Look at this. All right, this is immediately the coolest thing in the box, beyond the handheld itself, probably. Oh, that's nice. There's a wallet in the back. You put a card in there. Get your AYANEO on, walk around town, look really cool. All right, so thanks AYANEO for sending all of these things. 16 gigs in a vertical Android handheld, terabyte of space. Oh my goodness. This thing might be overkill, and woof. Now, AYANEO tends to do smaller runs of things, a little bit more niche, but very high quality hardware, just very, very nice. We're gonna see, how the software matches up to that hardware experience. But oh my goodness. I mean, it looks like an Analogue Pocket right out the gate. They really matched the color tone to a DMG. That's nice and like smoky gray. You got this nice big air intake on the back there. Oh, look at that shoulder. Oh man. Oh, and there's a wheel on the side. Look at that metal wheel. That's cool. We'll take a look at this in a second. What else do we got in the box? Okay, instruction manuals. Now, AYANEO did say that there was a firmware update to apply So I'm going to make sure to do that before you see any tests on here. Spare bumper buttons. It's nice to include. And there's an extra joystick. Okay. And I assume we have a USB-C cord. And that's it, right? Micro SD card slot, maybe? Yes. Okay, so there's your micro SD card slot. Although if you do get this 1 terabyte model, I don't think you'll need a micro SD card, but now you can have, 2 terabytes, 3 terabytes, go crazy. I see I have turned it on again by accident. Well, just be careful where I touch. It's not quite closing back down. There we go, okay. Looks like you get reset, a function button, what looks like maybe a fingerprint reader. That's probably also what turns it on, right? That's what I keep pressing by accident, yep. What is this? Oh, I see. Left click, right click. Oh, that's L3 and R3. Interesting. Ellipses menu, button, other function button. We have sloped ergonomic back buttons here. And so you get R2, L2, L1, R1. This already feels more comfortable than the Analogue Pocket. And that's one I didn't keep just because I didn't find it comfortable enough to really use, and the battery life for me wasn't great. But I like how this is taller and the way you grip the back feels good. That's a really nice feeling for big hands right out the gate here. The D-pad's fairly shallow, and it is even shallower in the middle there. You can see it's kind of flaring out there, but the pivot feels really good, and the travel feels solid. You can feel as you're pivoting. And the face button's also very shallow, so you might have a very pocketable experience here. And you do get the recessed stick there, which is a clickable stick. But the buttons feel good, and you can fast press them. But yeah, very shallow buttons here. Interesting. I wouldn't say that's really plus or minus. I mean, they feel good. It's just we are used to potentially a little bit taller buttons, and so these are mushy rubber membrane, D-pad, and the face buttons, and then your analog stick there, your Hall joystick. A little bit smaller range of motion. It's recessed, and so you're only going to go as far as the stick can go there, but I don't have any joystick grind happening. Now, this is interesting. You have this clickable touchpad here, so I guess you could navigate Android from here instead of touching the screen, which is nice. And I like this light up AYA button there, so that opens up the AYA space. And then you have start and select as these little clickable, that's like the original Game Boy, that's cool. This little start and select feels like membrane based buttons there. Very tiny travel on there, very, very minimal, very simple, but very sleek. I mean, AYANEO is known for making just the sleekest hardware. And I assume then this would be your volume up and down. I'm actually going to pull out the instruction manual. I'm going into this review blind. I have not watched other reviews or other material. Those nubbins are interesting. I'm interested in the nubbins. So I don't have any joystick caps that I've come up with that'll fit something this small, most likely. That's not too bad. It's no Stubbs nubs, but it's not too bad. What you need to do is I need to do a smaller size of the ring. See? You can do that. No pain, no gain. Here's concave. There's a little indentation. Those aren't too bad. All right, what do all these things do here? So touchpad, AYA button, yep. Active cooling, air intake. There's that 3.92 inch 1240 by 1080 AM OLED screen. So it is an AM OLED. And it is almost 4 inches, 3.92 inches on the cusp of 4 inches. Now we've just been talking about 4x3 4-inch screens from, for instance, the Anbernic RG406H. But that is, man, I mean, that is nowhere near this OLED. Active cooling output. Looks like we have a microphone on bottom and charging indicator on bottom. I like that they're on the bottom though, so it's not going to just shine at you when you're playing in bed or something like that. But I still want to know, what are the buttons on the side? So RC button and LC button, I guess they're just custom buttons. I thought it was L3 and R3, but maybe not. Looks like it's a programmable button. custom function. Okay, so the speakers are actually not down firing or anything. They're actually left firing and right firing. Look at that. That's different. Left and right firing outwards. You don't see that every day. But yeah, I really like the ergonomics of this, though. It feels good. And I like the nice touch of the classic Game Boy DMG bezel that they have here. That looks really nice. I mean, man, I would not spend the extra money to get this particular color at all, but it does very much pop. The white and the black versions look even more premium, though, so this will have more of that retro vibe. And it feels nice. It's a matte plastic. It's not glossy in any way. It doesn't look like it's going to retain fingerprints. It's kind of a grainy matte finish. Let's take a close-up look at this thing. I like this wheel too. This wheel is metal. Wait, we didn't find out. So what's this one do? What's that button do? Oh, it's a turbo switch button. So it changes the performance policy. Okay, so it changes the performance profile on the CPU governor. Magic switch dial, and it supports pressing on this wheel. Oh, you can push in on it too. You know, those like Game Boy IPS mods, OLED mods, have the pushable buttons there. It does the same thing here. That's cool. It's compared, again, I don't have anything. I mean, this is the highest end vertical handheld I've ever tested, I've ever had in for review here. I don't even know what to compare this against other than a few similar form factor sizes, but nothing is going to match the power on tap here. This is going to be playing well up to Nintendo Switch without breaking a sweat. I mean, this is the fastest that we've seen. Same chipset that we saw in the AYANEO Pocket S, and we're going to be seeing it again in the Pocket Evo. These are an entire world away from this. Make no mistake. The other closest thing I can think of course, is the Analogue Pocket, but that's an FPGA. It's an entirely different idea. What can we truly even come close to doing? You know, there is the Anbernic RG406V, which does have a Unisoc T820 inside of it. I don't have one here for comparison today, but that would be able to play up to similar, you know, in the similar performance bracket as far as being able to at least play Switch. At least you're looking at around $160 or so for that. And more ergonomic, bigger and all that, but you get two sticks. And but yeah, I mean, this is sleek. This could be the end all be all for somebody who really loves verticals. I do. I like verticals. They're the ones that I generally take with me if I'm going camping or just, you know, slip something in the pocket. But this is not one that I would feel comfortable just slipping in the pocket or taking camping. You know, this is something that I would definitely like wash my hands before and after using it, sort of thing. Like, that's how nervous I would be about scuffing this up. You know, it's just so freaking sleek, but it feels awesome. Now let's take a look with its accessories, because it can have fun stickers too. I'm not going to actually adorn it with stickers because that'd be crazy right now. Here's a look at the pouch. Oh, and it accidentally turned the power on when I put it in the pouch. So that power button, unfortunately, is very sensitive. I've turned it on by accident, I think 3 or 4 times now. And it's easy to push the pad. Yeah, this probably isn't the pouch that I'd go for. That other thing, the shoulder bag, is probably the way to go. So let's take a look at this. It does wobble a little bit, but there's room probably to, you know, put something else like a microfiber cloth, because you want to have one in hand on this bad boy. Not that you need it for fingerprints, just to keep it clean. But yeah, a little bit of wiggle room there, but nothing too bad. And it goes side to side, so I'd be worried again about potentially accidentally turning it on and off while it's in the bag. That is way too sensitive, way too sensitive. Now, as we turn it on here, we get access to the Play Store, we get access to iSpace, the settings. A very minimal, bare bones system right here, so we're going to load on our own emulators. Let's take a look at these dead zones. That's interesting. You can see my camera is seeing some of these vertical lines happening. That tells me that it's not a clean 60 hertz. So we're going to look at the refresh rate and see what we're getting. Now, again, I haven't done the firmware update, so we're going to make sure this is all up to date before I continue on here, but I want to see what's going on with that. Looks like we get pretty free range of motion. I can feel it snapping though just a little bit snapping back to center, which makes sense. I almost thought I felt cardinal snapping there, but luckily no. I'm sure the right stick is this touchpad. Yeah, it is. Look at that. Oh yeah, no, these are free range of motion. There's no snapping on this. That's good. At the same time, yeah, that's interesting. So you have this whole touchpad to hit that circle. So where's the circle? It's a little bit erratic there. That's different. So it does have two sticks, basically. You have one that's a clickable, like mouse pad, like from a laptop, and then you have your stick. So interesting. And there's some updates. All right, while that's going, let's take a look at this refresh rate. I'm curious. What's going on with this? So I see that it has a 59.85 hertz there. Well, let's look at the settings. So we get Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. We have force landscape on, which would make sense. Battery care, all your basic Android settings. And this, I like this light up Aya space button though, that's cool. Oh man, because it's so high resolution, my eyeballs are not able to see what that text says at all. Can you see that? Can you see what that says? Haven't imported your retro games yet. Okay, so they have their built-in front end here. You can change your theme settings, your video settings. You can log in. And here's your device settings here. Input Gboard. You can change your fan settings. And the fan right now is set to high and it's fairly loud. Oh man. So here's how loud it can get. Listen to this. And then low. Okay, that's pretty much silent. And then high is what we've had it on. There you go. Definitely on the louder side there. Again, need to do all the updates. And looks like we have pretty extensive performance settings here, from balance, power saving, game mode, and max. Fan we can set right there, CPU scheduling, and we can flip this. And this says friendly reminder, this mode will fully unleash the performance of the device. Yes, proceed. We're unleashing. You can look right there, it set it to max and performance mode. So holy crap, this thing is a beast. So then if I put it back, now it's in power saving mode. Coming in at 274 grams. So yeah, I think I'm going to get all my emulators on here. I am going to test it for a few days and I will report back. Let's just do Evoland. Here, take a look at an Android game. This one scales pretty dang nicely, by the way. So you're going to see some lines coming across the screen, and I discovered this is a 60 hertz panel, but it's just a little bit finicky with my camera. I couldn't quite get my shutter speed to match up, and so I apologize about that. So you're going to see some vertical lines that are not present to the naked eye. Just some of the most clear speakers I have ever heard on a retro handheld. Look how big we get for the speaker holes as well. Like, this sounds... The mids and the highs are really nice, and you actually do get a little bit of bass, although it's tough to tell on this song. Listen to that crisp audio. It is a little strange, again, that it's coming out the left and the right, but what we have here, I actually like that they did this because it's creating this sort of virtual surround sound effect that is, you know, you'd have maybe your laptop or something, but it sounds really pleasing to the ear. Like, I really like the audio on here. For such a small handheld, it's very impressive sounding. Hey, we get color. Like, look at this screen, though. Like, look at that. Analogue Pocket has got nothing on that screen. Look at that. Oh, I was going to show you console launcher. Yeah, so this is the front end I'm using in here. It is awesome for screens like this and just awesome for Android in general. This is a new alpha version that will be released soon, and there's some really cool features. My favorite feature is I never have time to mess with front ends, it seems like. And so this one, you just literally point it at your ROMs directory and it starts scraping. This is available on the Google Play Store, and yeah, I'm really having a lot of fun with it. Check out console launcher. Here's my favorite thing though that they're about to implement. Check this out. And it uses that Steam Grid DB icons, which is really neat. But there's a new randomizer. I had requested that went in. I was like, please add a randomizer. I love a randomizer. And the dev was like, okay. And he had it in the app and had an APK over to me within like a few hours. I was like, what in the world? So yeah, now look at this. Randomly pick a game out of the collection. AOI blink. Do you want it? Launch the game. Otherwise, you can say click the dice and you can roll again. There's Quake on DOS. Doesn't have screen art. Doesn't have box art. But there, it just grabbed it on the spot. That is so cool. Yeah, the RH team, we've all been really enjoying this lately. He said he's going to integrate retro achievements in this next, and I'm like, dude, yes, please. Thank you. Also, I noticed there is just a little bit of noise, of ambient noise, though, that does come from the speakers, a little bit of that speaker buzz. You don't notice it until your ear is right up against it, but it is present just a bit. And this screen is a fingerprint magnet, so keep your microfiber cloth handy. That's a really nice D-pad for Hadoukens. I'm not even great at Hadoukens, and that's good. Yeah, that feels good for Hadoukens. As Russ would say, it's Hadoukenable. Oh, look at that. Yes! Now, I don't think we need to worry too much about performance benchmarking on here today. This chip in here, the Snapdragon 8 G3x Gen 2, will play everything that you want at pretty much whatever settings you want. I really do recommend other videos like Retro Game Core. Should be getting an upcoming review for this where he'll dive deep. Check out TechDweeb's video as well if you want a better idea of things. But retro content on here is just gorgeous. Let's go ahead and leave it there. Let's wrap up. Well, what did you all think of the AYANEO Pocket DMG? This one has been such a surprise in my testing, from starting out kind of a little not unsure about it, to ending with really feeling like this is the ultimate Game Boy that money can buy. Like, if you want just the best experience for Game Boy with the best screen, no compromises, really for anything for those lower end retro systems with every shader up to wazoo loaded on, you can't go wrong with this starting at around $340 for those early bird IGG prices. But do you really need to have this retro aesthetic? Because this will run you $675. And so I think to not have to contend with any of the bezel woes and seeing those bezels, just get the black SKU. It's gonna blend in. It saves you a bunch of money, like $300. Yeah, that's what I would go with personally after experiencing the aspect ratio. But if you want that retro look and you are going to be sticking to just 8x7 or 1x1 aspect ratio content like Pico 8, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, NES, and SNES, then I think this is an awesome best of the best, no frills, best performance, really best buttons I've felt for those systems. Once you start to get into the higher end like N64, PS1, anything that uses a dual stick layout, Nintendo Switch, this experience on the shoulders is not great feeling, especially L2 and R2, just not very comfortable to use at all. They're there, they're functional, but you're not going to have a great time. Likewise, first-person shooters is a complete miss on this. Using this to try to mimic a right analog stick just doesn't work. It's definitely a mouse pad, and it technically functions to hit those inputs in the games, but beyond using it for like a camera, it's not really great. And so this, I think, was not the best idea for this. I do think having a second stick would have been better in general, just for those systems. But the stick in general, the one we do get, has a great range of motion. It works well. It is placed in a little bit of an unergonomic spot when you want to play, again, shooters, things like that. This is not the handheld I would recommend for that genre at all. Really take a look at a number of other options on our channel to check out some twin stick options. But the face buttons, while they're shallow travel, they feel great. I really like how fast you can press them. When I was playing Mega Man, I was really able to take things out no problem. And Celeste was a dream on this with this D-pad. I was bouncing up and down the walls, and combined with the buttons, I thought ergonomics were great. They felt good. Likewise, Street Fighter Alpha 3, while I'm not a great Hadoukenable player, I was able to pull those off no issue, so that felt good. No complaints really with Start and Select. They're a little odd and tiny right there. As far as the fan goes, it did get pretty loud. Like, listen, I don't know if I showed it earlier, but listen to this. I think I did. You know, it does get pretty loud on the highest setting. And so I like to play retro content myself without the shaders. You can add the shaders, but just to save the most battery life, I went straight no shaders when I was playing it. Battery life has been awesome on this. I've been playing it for a number of days now. No hiccups. Again, this holds every ROM I could think of. 1 terabyte built in, 16 gigs of RAM on this bad boy. Switch, no problem. I played it in 1080p even. I never ran into a performance issue on this device once in my testing. This is the fastest retro handheld I've used, while also being a vertical. It is an almost 8:7 aspect ratio screen, 32 by 27, 31 by 27, I don't know. It didn't bother me that much after I had a few days to kind of get used to it. It was just a little odd looking on 4x3 content, and I wasn't expecting it. So yeah, there you have it. You know, that's kind of my thoughts on this. The speakers are awesome. The speakers sounded gorgeous, but in long play sessions and when playing in bed, while it looked great, the ergonomics for my hands didn't feel that good after playing for more than 20 to 30 minutes. And again, I will swap out those shoulders. Do I recommend it at $340? Yes. Do I recommend getting this one at $675? That's pretty much a no to every person, unless you really love this colorway, which I personally do, and you want it in that classic Game Boy look, and you just have to have it, and you want the highest spec, because again, you're paying extra money, not just for the color. You are paying to go from 8 gigs of RAM up to 16 gigs of RAM. You're also paying to go from, 128 gigabytes of storage or 512 all the way up to a terabyte. So this is just the highest spec unit, and it happens to come in the coolest color. One complaint was this power button was very easy to press on, and so I did turn it on a number of times. And so I didn't end up using the soft pouch that they sent with it, but this hard case, as you'll see on the podcast, TechDweeb and I are fans of this hard case. Look at this. You can just put whatever you want in there. You can put a horizontal, you can put a vertical, you can put multiple. You even have like a driver's license or like a credit card pouch in the back there, which is cool. Yeah, this hard case, I've just been walking around with this. This thing's awesome. Someone called it like an Army MRE handheld case. And yeah, this is like my favorite AYANEO accessory so far. So AYANEO, thank you for sending this over for review. We are going to have more thoughts. I'm going to mail this to Ban on our writing team now. He'll be doing comparisons and taking a look at it. And pretty dang cool what they're doing these days, right? All right, well, I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Share it with your friends. And we're talking about this stuff all the time, every day. Be subscribed to stay in the know for all of your favorite retro handhelds. A special thanks again to all of our channel members, patrons, and subs who make everything here possible for us. perks with RH start for as little as $3 a month. Join us in our Discord to chat and play games, and join us on the podcast every Monday where we talk about the latest in retro handheld news, emulation news, have a rotating guest, and just get into lots of crazy shenanigans with myself and the Retro Tech Dad and Mr. Ban. But until the next one, this has been Stubbs with RH. Take care of those handhelds, everybody, and each other. Bye.